Railroad. Today, this day of days, Christoph Wendt is working on the tube sheet of the 5. We're getting the last of the tube ends ground off. I have to go and help Brian knock apart a log jam on another bridge, so I'm going to be doing that for quite a while. But Chris is going to be here. He's got you guys all set up right here. Check it out, videoing each other. When I get done digging apart that bridge, we'll come back and we'll look at getting the tubes out of this thing, or at least starting. So what we're gonna do in that is I'm gonna go inside with the cutting torch and start snipping the tubes off at the sheets. And then we're gonna take the throttle rod and the throttle packing gland out, which are right there, and then I'll pass the tubes over the top of the firebox out the back of the cab and be done with them. And then the tubes are at least out to where we can get in there and start working on cleaning up the barrel, and we'll go over the improper way that these tubes were put on the boiler. Enjoy some music and him working on that while I go do this bridge thing. Ta-da! BT Wise is going inside the boiler. He's gonna start. Jesse, one of our volunteers, is down here continuing to fight with the tube ends. Yeah. Chris is over here fighting with washout plugs. This is a historic moment. The tubes are coming out of the 5. History in the making. Well, don't do that. You really should have a hat. There you go. Brian's cutting the first one. Looks like he's already cut the first one. He's cutting the second one. More YouTube boredom. Oh, God! What was that? Alive in there. Brian.
You want that board that I was using in 70s cab?
Yeah, if you can find it.
I know exactly where it is.
hold still, God damn it. All right. What? That sucks. Those suckers look damn near brand new. Dropped my money stick. Well, that's neat. Steam engines. It had to be steam engines. It could have been anything else. Could have been porn. Hollywood. Could have been anything. But it had to be steam engine. Yep. Huh? Oh. Ow. Come on now. Oh. The f is that laying on the crown sheet? I can't see the hole.
You're lined up.
Bethan's down there getting suited up because she wants to be a part of this show. I got a few to cut before we get going, so I'll yell. I was just giving the folks of YouTube a show of you putting on a jumpsuit.
On my postpartum plus 20-pound.
You know, there's a type out there for everybody. Okay, I'm going in now. Doobity-doo. I've got the perfect puzzle for you. Oompa loompa doobity-dee. If you are wise, you won't play with steam. What do you get when your locomotive's clapped out? You've got to go and take all the tubes out. Huh? The morning of day now I don't know what day it is anymore. I think it's Monday. Done running that for the weekend, so she's sitting out there cooling her heels. Chris is working on the boss porter, continuing to cut tubes. I am actually on my way to Chehalis to get more oxygen in the acetylene because we're burning through it pretty quick. So we're just going to kind of skip over a lot of the tube pulling process, and the reason being is because, well, like most things around the railroad, it's very repetitive and very boring. So I think you guys got enough video of that to kind of see what the process is there. As soon as we get done pulling the tubes, we're going to go after the tube sheets and start getting the tube ends out. We've left probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 inches of tube in the sheet to work with. Then we're going to come back and we're going to grind off this weld, and I'll go over how it was done wrong for a steam locomotive boiler. It wasn't done wrong for a state code and practice, but it was done wrong for a steam locomotive boiler. So we'll go over that here in a little bit. Okay, alrighty, okay, so here we go. Go over here and grab some talking chalk. See how well this comes up on the camera. Oh, it comes up pretty good. Okay, so you have your tube sheet here and tube hole, and then there's a tube running in here. So when you put tubes in, you're supposed to roll them and beat them, and what happens is that this tube expands to the size of this hole, it seals, and then you beat it over and everything's dandy. And that's not the way that they did it on this thing. The way they did it on this thing is off of an old steamship practice that probably came out of God knows where, God knows what. So okay, here we have our tube sheet, and here we have our tube hole. Make sure I'm getting all this in the camera frame. And our tube comes in like this. Now, when they got tubes for this thing, they were barely long enough to get almost to the end of the hole, not all the way. And they didn't roll them and beat them. They just stuck them in the hole, got them kind of in the middle, and then they welded them. Now, when you do it right and you're rolled and beaded, you can come around and you can seal weld it here on the outsides of the bead. It seal welds it and helps with heat transference. And you normally only do that on the firebox end of on the boiler, not on the smoke box end. Chris, take a moment from getting dressed there and put your fingers together like this. Now push them together. Well, they're supposed to go up. There you go. That right there is what happens when you do it this way and your tubes expand. How many of those tubes we pull out of there are already bent?
Pretty much all of them. Mm-hmm. And there was stresses that you could see in the tube sheet in the smoke box that went away as soon as we got all the tubes cut out of it.
Yeah, the smoke box went from being a little bit on the warpy end to being
arrow straight?
Yeah. So you don't ever weld both ends because there's no room for expansion. And in the words of Sir Doyle McCormick, Knight of the Sacred Realm of Steam, you get undesirable condition. And that's exactly what they did. So now what we have is we have our tube sheet here, and we have our tubes are full pin welded to that sheet, which means we are having to work extra diligently to make sure that we're getting the tube ends out without damaging the sheet, because we really are trying not to put tube sheets in this thing. So if it would have been done correctly for, say, how like the 70s is done, the 70s are seal welded on the firebox end and just rolled and beaded on the smoke box end. If this would have been done like that, we would have the tube sheets surveyed and analyzed by now. We would have had the tubes out in a day. Because all we would have had to do is just get in there, grind off the bead, knock the tube out, and the whole tube would have just slid right out the tube sheet. Or we would have got in there and done what we did, cut them all the way down, and then all we'd be doing is just grinding them off and smacking them with a hammer, and away they go. So, but put them in the hole, weld them up. You know what? I'm gonna find that clip. I'm gonna put it in the fucking video.
Put them in the hole and weld them up.
Alright, so as I was saying, I'm gonna get in here and you see Chris try to collapse this one in hopes that we can peel it away from the sheet. That didn't happen. We got one out here, one out here, one out here, one here. We got a few of them out. So I'm gonna start working here and see if I can't get these ones close enough to where they can bust loose. You see a little bit of separation here in this one. And then I got a wire brush on this sheet and polish it back up. Bad part about Washington is so much dang water in the air that anything left exposed rusts quickly. We're gonna try to get this whipped out as quickly as we can so that we don't have any more issues. So, yeah, what I'm gonna be doing for the next few hours. Oh, it's the morning of God knows when. My arms and my wrists are killing me. But there ain't no rest for the wicked. Is that the way it goes? I can't remember. Anyway, so last night at the end of the day, I kind of think I figured out a fairly decent process of getting those getting them out without really having to go after the tube sheet real wild. So I'm gonna continue on, and I think I got a process down now. I kind of had to get to a point of effort and just start going for it, and it's come to find out when I decided to proceed forward with that mentality, I found a way that was quicker and doesn't hurt the tube sheet at all. So go figure. So it's pushing 6 o'clock. The lasagna is going to be done in about an hour.
So we got an hour of work to do.
So we've decided we're going to push it out another hour till about 7 tonight. And I'm going to keep cracking away at these tubes, and he's going to get that sand dome ready to remove. Chris is stripping the cab out so that we can prep it to remove the cab from the locomotive. We got all the woodwork and stuff laying over here except for the fireman side stuff. You got to take that window out, those windows out, and then the 2 windows above the boiler. And take the seats out of it. Probably take that monkey ass freaking electrical crap out that looks like freaking Tesla. What was the name of that thing?
Tesla coil?
The Tesla coil, yeah. Reach out and shock you. With the good electricity that don't hurt. Brian and I, for the last, I don't know, 3.5 hours, Brian was inside the boiler and I was outside in the smoke box. Made a good push, and we're up to 102 tube ends out. We did that in about 3 hours-ish. So we got 80 of them out, about 80 of them out in 3 hours. And we got a pretty good process going on there. So we got, Zeb's gonna be up tomorrow. And we'll just kind of rinse and repeat what we were doing there. And then start working on the firebox side of things. Yep. So it's been a bear. We haven't discovered any cracks yet, thank God. But in some of these cases where the tube wasn't long enough to come all the way through the sheet, we kind of had to take a little bit more meat off the tube legs than I'd really like to. But that's all going to come down to calculation and repair procedures on what to do there. I mean, we're not saying that we don't have to take tube sheets out yet, but it's looking better and better that we might be able to save it. Let's just put it that way. So there's still a chance we're going to be taking the tube sheet out and putting a new one in. But fingers crossed, we won't have to do that. So, all right, we're going to cut you guys loose on this one and see you on the next one.